One thing about modern women in America is most of them love to argue, love to debate, and they always have to win. They will argue back and forth with you forever if you engage with them. Just to prove a point. Today's lesson, young ladies, stop arguing. Do not engage in arguments, especially in public with strangers. A lot of people walking around today are unhinged, they are crazy, they are depressed, and they're 1 degree of separation from self-deletion. They don't care about themselves, so there's no way they can value human life around them or value a community. That goes for this new generation for sure, males and the females. But today we have a story of a family, a close-knit family, 4 sisters, who went to an Atlanta Braves game with their dad, a fun family outing that ended in tragedy after the sisters crossed paths with this woman right here. Take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Paige Jenkins, 25 years old, was born in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. After living in South Dakota, her family relocated to the southern United States. They settled in a town outside of Atlanta, Douglasville, Georgia, where Paige attended high school. Growing up, she was a cheerleader and practiced gymnastics. Paige attended UGA, the University of Georgia, where she earned her bachelor's in communication sciences and disorders. She was an AKA and a member of the National Council of Negro Women. She loved nature, hiking, and cooking. And one thing about Paige, she loved her family. She had 3 siblings, all sisters, and they were very close. On Sunday, July 16, 2023, Paige and her sister spent the afternoon with their father at a Braves game. The Braves played the Chicago White Sox. That day, the ladies parked at the Cumberland Mall and walked to the stadium. Although a lot of people do this to avoid paying for parking, baseball fans are prohibited from parking at the mall subject to towing. I guess you can say the rules are not enforced, so getting towed wasn't much of a concern for them. After having a great time at the game, Paige and her sisters walked back to their car. While walking through the parking lot of the Cumberland Mall, a woman allegedly drove through at an accelerated speed and almost hit Keisha. That's Paige's older sister. Keisha yelled at the woman to watch where she was going. Then she and the woman quickly exchanged words, the driver yelling at Keisha, telling her she needed to look where she was going, and Keisha yelling at the driver, telling her that she was the pedestrian and she needed to look where she was driving. After those 2 exchanged words, Paige jumped in to defend her sister in the argument. According to Keisha, Paige also told the woman that she needed to watch out. The woman drove off and the sisters continued to walk to their car. Then out of nowhere, the woman circled around the lot and came back towards the women. She was very aggressive and used her car to attack them, running over Paige. Paige was transported to the hospital, but sadly, she did not survive her injuries. After hitting Paige, the woman did not stop. She kept driving and left the scene as if nothing happened. Initially, officers thought that it may have been accidental, but according to Paige's sisters, it wasn't an accident at all.
A teenage girl faces a charge of felony murder tonight. Police accuse the 18-year-old of deliberately striking a woman in the parking lot of Cumberland Mall after an Atlanta Braves game on Sunday.
Fox 5's Deidre Dukes joins us from Cobb Police Headquarters. She spoke with the victim's family this afternoon. So, Deidre, what did they tell you happened?
Yeah, I spoke with the victim's sisters who tell me they were enjoying a day out with their dad when they had a run-in with the suspect. They tell me that they did not know that suspect and that Vanessa Robinson deliberately struck their sister, killing her.
She ran over my sister's body like she was trash, like she was nobody.
Paige Jenkins and her family were returning to their car after attending the Braves game Sunday evening when they crossed paths with Vanessa Robinson. Jenkins' sisters say Robinson was driving through the parking lot as the family walked to their car.
She had almost hit me with her car first, and she had said something upon the lines of, "You need to watch where you're going," or something, and I was like, "I'm the pedestrian, you watch where you're going," and I had kind of shoot her off, and she had exchanged some words, and that's when Paige heard us having that argument, and she came back and said, "Watch where you're going."
Lewis said Robinson drove off, then circled back around.
We see them pull around, and she stops for like a second, and then my sister just She just hit the car.
Robinson fled the scene. Jenkins was rushed to Kennestone Hospital but did not survive her injuries.
So it was no accident. It was she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing.
Police tracked down Robinson and she was taken into custody in Fairburn.
My sister did not deserve that. And the 2 other girls that were in there, justice needs to be brought upon them as well. Because my sister did not deserve that. She was full of life, energy. She was like our glue.
And her sisters, other family members, simply devastated by her loss. She was one of 4 siblings, all girls. As for that suspect, Robinson, she is facing felony murder charges as well as aggravated assault and remains behind bars tonight. In Cobb County, Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Just so devastating. Your heart really goes out to that family. Deidre, thanks.
This young woman absolutely lost her mind, and now she's going to have a lot of time to go find it. 18 years old. Vanessa Robinson is now behind bars where she's supposed to be. I agree with Keisha. I don't believe that it was an accident at all. Vanessa, like a lot of young people today, weren't raised right. They have emotional issues and love to throw tantrums. Why would you be exchanging words with a stranger in a heated argument, drive off, and then circle back? That's just silly. Move along and go on. Why come back for more? Because she's got to have the last word, the last lick. She's got to feel like she won. Well, Vanessa, now you're about to win a prison sentence. Took away this woman's life while also throwing away her own life at the same time. I'm not about to talk about her like she's some little kid. She's an adult, and she's charged as an adult. This is basic knowledge and common sense. She knew better. The car is meant for driving, not to be used as a weapon. One thing I did notice about all of this is Paige's older sister, Keisha, arguing with this lunatic who they did not know in the parking lot, ultimately caused the demise of her own sister. I don't think Keisha thought things would escalate to the point where Vanessa took it, but please remember, men are already aware of this, but women love testing the waters. They're not used to thinking about consequences or cause and effect, usually because they're used to being defended and not held accountable when in the wrong. But do not sit up there arguing with lunatics in the streets. You don't know these stupid people. Always remember they probably have something on them, and usually people popping off and acting ignorant, they have something tucked off nearby, especially in the South. You don't run around arguing with people in Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, where in 2023 everybody is holding on to something. In this case, Vanessa didn't use one, but still found a way to take this woman's life. Both women, Keisha and Vanessa, set up their arguing and just kept going because both of them believed they were in the right. Vanessa is 100% out of order. I can't stand when these idiots speed through parking lots, parking garages, just being silly. When you see a dummy doing dumb stuff, get out of their way quick, fast, in a hurry. Vanessa was not supposed to be speeding in that parking lot. As for Keisha, even when you're a pedestrian and legally you have the right of way, you still need to look both ways and use caution when crossing the street. You can't just rely on a bunch of idiotic rebels to follow the rules. You can't argue about being right if your life is taken, depending on some moron to be a responsible driver. What I'm saying is, even when you have the right of way, you still have to watch out. Keisha and Vanessa should have never continued going back and forth, trying to prove a point about who was right. And all of that contributed to what happened ultimately with Paige losing her life. Then people always get me with this. They say stuff like, all of them should go to jail. In some cases, it's true. If everyone committed a crime where they legally did something wrong, sure. But saying the other 2 girls in the car should go to jail too because of Vanessa, I don't agree with that. This was all Vanessa. She was the driver, the operator of that vehicle, the only one in control of her mind and her actions. She did this. Yeah, the other 2 women probably said something stupid too, but if that's the case, all of them out there probably yelled something at some point, unless the other 2 women in some way incited this. The person who committed the crime and left the scene, who was in control of the vehicle that took the life of Paige, was Vanessa. So they already have the right person locked up. Now, I think Vanessa should get life, and if they let her out on parole ever, she needs to serve at least 25 years before going before a board. This woman is 18, and if you let her out within the next 10 years, she's going to definitely destroy more lives. Look at this girl. Angry, out of control, no discipline, can't handle her emotions. No way, she's too dangerous to be on the streets. Paige was 25 years old. She should have never lost her life that day. And Vanessa, she's got to be held accountable for what she's done here. 2 important lessons. Do not engage in arguments, especially in public with strangers, because you have a lot of loose cannons with nothing to lose running around. And stop always arguing to be right. They wanted to prove each other wrong, and things just kept escalating, which is how a lot of people become victims of these loony folks out here. Condolences to the Jenkins family, Paige's sisters, her parents, their whole family. Paige had a lot more life to live, and she seemed like a decent young woman who unfortunately crossed paths with a wicked woman that day. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started below. Special thank you to Carlos King Los, Dark Power, and Larry W. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.